If someone's acting like an asshole, they are hurting really bad, and that's why they are acting out. There's a hurt person inside there. Yo, what is up? Welcome to episode 15 of Brolosophy. I am Mike Fio.
And I am Nick Fio.
And we are the Fio Bros.
And our intention with this podcast is super simple. Share practical wisdom for a happier, more fulfilling life.
Yes, and today we are talking about assholes. We all deal with people that act like assholes. Ooh, and maybe it's your boss, maybe it's someone in your family, maybe it's the guy or girl who cut you off on your way to work this morning. They're everywhere. And unfortunately, they are a part of life. And human beings have been dealing with them, or people acting like them, for a really, really long time. Actually, over 2,000 years. And the reason I know that is because I'm talking about this guy right here, the special guest for today's episode, Marcus Aurelius.
There he is.
Marcus,
back from the dead,
dealt with assholes. And he gave himself advice in the form of a journal entry that we are going to use as our guide for today's episode.
And just to throw it out there, that journal that he wrote for himself was now turned into a book. It's called Meditations. I know we've spoken about it before, but if someone's listening for the first time, it's called Meditations, and one of our favorite translation is by George Hayes.
Gregory.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, Gregory. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we'll drop that link below.
But before we do that, we're going to have to ask you to smash that subscribe button.
Just smash that subscribe button, smash that like button.
No, seriously, if you can do that, that'll mean the world to us. It'll allow us to get the videos to you and to get the videos and this podcast to more people. So do that for us. It'll be super appreciated. We love you. And now back to your regularly scheduled program. Mike.
Yes, so we're pulling all three tips, like I said, from one Marcus Aurelius quote. What is that quote?
When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surely. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own, not of the same blood or birth, but the same mind, and possessing a share of the divine. And so none of them can hurt me. No one can implicate me in ugliness, nor can I feel angry at my relatives or hate him. We were born to work together, like feet, hands, and eyes, like two rows of teeth, upper and lower. To obstruct each other is unnatural. To feel anger at someone, to turn your back on him, these are obstructions. Marcus Aurelius.
What a savage.
That was a beautiful journal entry there. What we're going to do now is take that long quote and break it into three parts so that we can really try to understand the advice that Marcus is giving us.
Yeah, because there's a lot in there.
There's a lot. Away. So the first section of the quote, we summarized it with this mantra of expect the worst. And the part of the quote is, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, and surely. I miss jealous.
Surly.
Jealous and
surly. Nick.
Surely. I can't say that word. We're going to skip that one. But basically, they're going to be ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, and jealous.
And surely.
Yeah.
So in other words, what he's basically saying is expect that on a daily basis, you are going to deal with people who are acting like assholes. And there's no way around it. There's no way to avoid it. So you might as well wake up every morning and expect that
He was accepting the reality that Yeah, he was going to deal with some people that were going through some shit today, and they were going to cross his path.
It's the anticipation of bad things happening to you.
Of the worst case scenario.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's another quote that kind of brings this more to life from Seneca. He says, "What is unlooked for is more crushing in its effect, and unexpectedness adds to the weight of a disaster." To quickly translate that, Nick, you got a very easy translation.
Basically, if you don't think about the unexpected, then when the unexpected happens, it will crush you. But if you can think about the things that could go wrong, and then when they do happen, you'll just be more prepared for them.
Yeah.
And that's basically what he's doing. He's priming himself to be good, no matter if he deals with the kindest person or he deals with the most unkind person on his path that day.
Right.
So that's number one.
He's like putting on his armor for the day by completely eliminating any expectations he has.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point.
So if you reduce your expectations to 0 every single morning, then you've already won.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so number 2, the second part of this quote we want to break down that we've summarized into a mantra is don't take it personally. This is a powerful one. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil, but I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own, not of the same blood or birth, but the same mind, and possessing a share of the divine. And so none of them can hurt me. No one can implicate me in ugliness, nor can I feel angry at my relative or hate him.
Yeah.
What do you got there for us?
This one's all about empathy and realizing that everyone at different times does what he would call ugly things. Mm-hmm. Everyone acts like an asshole sometimes, including us.
Yeah.
So when you come at it from that lens, not from a lens of you're on this grand old hill looking down at everyone, all these assholes, you're also an asshole sometimes. And when you can accept that, you realize that when someone is acting like an asshole, it's not personal. Basically, it's not on you, it's on them. Mm-hmm. So don't take it so personally.
Yeah. It's that famous line, hurt people will hurt people. We are all, as humans, going through this human experience. And in this human experience, we are all dealing with difficulties. And once you can really grasp that and look at your own life as the example, then it will give you the power to have more empathy towards others rather than judgment of them, right? Because you have felt like that before. Yeah. I know that feeling. I've been an asshole to my spouse, or I've been an asshole to my friend or my brother or whatever it is, right? I've been there. So I know I'm not going to judge you today.
Right.
And a story that really brings this to life for me that I constantly think back on is the story of the man who gets on to the bus with his 2 kids. The man gets on the bus with his 2 kids, and the 2 kids, it's a packed bus, and the 2 kids start basically going wild on the bus, like hanging off the bars, yelling, screaming, pushing each other, and the dad is just sitting there looking down at the floor, kind of ignoring his kids while they go absolutely bonkers. And the people on the bus are like looking at this all unfold, and like they're in disbelief here. Like, is this guy gonna say something? Is he gonna get his kids under control? So finally, one dude that's sitting next to him can't take it anymore, and he looks at the dad and he's like, "Excuse me, sir. Like, your kids are going crazy. Can you get them under control? Like, this is unacceptable." And the dad slowly looks up at him with like really sad eyes and says, "You're right. I'm so sorry. They just lost their mom. I'm struggling to deal with this myself. I think they're also struggling with the news, and I'm sorry." And all of a sudden, the guy that says that to him, like a wave of guilt kind of spills into him, like, holy shit, I had no idea you were going through that. I'm like sorry that I like put more shit on your plate. Yeah. That must be extremely difficult. Yep. And what it does is that story, what it does is it reminds me to not be so quick to jump down people's throat. Yeah. Right? To rather than say like, get your kids under control, asking a question like, hey, is everything okay? Are you all right? Like, trying to get curious. Try to understand the situation first before thrusting your judgment into it.
Yeah. I think you said it best and so simply when you said hurt people hurt people. That's really what this one is all about. It's recognizing that fact that when people are acting like assholes, they are really just deeply hurt themselves. And so don't take it personally. It's really them struggling with whatever they're going through. And by the way, you've been in that same place. That's what this one is all about.
And let's try to express the empathy we would want expressed to us when we're going through that shit.
Yeah.
Because if we operate from that mentality, then we're going to be our best.
All right.
Now, moving on to number 3, the final part of the quote. We've summarized it with the mantra, realize we're all on the same team. So he touched on this towards the end of the last section, but he goes on to say, we were born to work together, like feet, hands, and eyes, like 2 rows of teeth, upper and lower. To obstruct each other is unnatural. To feel anger at someone, to turn your back on him, these are obstructions.
Yeah, this is like the most poetic part of the quote in my eyes. The Stoics believed that we, as humans and as all living creatures, are interconnected by the same consciousness. And he says in the earlier section that we all share a slice of the divine. Mm-hmm. And so basically they looked at consciousness as this big pizza pie that we're all pieces, we're all slices of the same pizza pie. Is a really oversimplified way to explain this. So we're all on the same team.
It's a very powerful metaphor for anyone who's played sports, right? The best teams are the ones where they operate like they are all on the same team. Mm-hmm. And the worst teams are the teams where you fight with the people within your team, right? Those teams never go far, right? But the teams that can stick together, they usually are the ones that go on to win the championship.
Yeah.
And this is the human team that we're talking about here. Every single one of us is a part of it. Mm-hmm. And if we can look at every person as on our team trying to move in this direction of improving the quality of the world, right? Living in a good world for all of us.
Yeah.
Then we're going to start treating people better.
It's so easy to, when someone is acting like an asshole, to see them as your enemy. But you need to remember that this isn't your enemy. This is a fallen comrade.
Yeah.
That's really the mindset shift. You're not fighting this person.
They're hurt in the field of battle.
Exactly. And they're your comrade. They're a fallen comrade. They need a medic.
So what are you going to do? Kick them while they're down?
Right.
Or are you going to try to give them a helping hand?
Exactly. All right.
Anything
else you want to add to that? Oh, wait. I have one last caveat I want to add to that.
Yeah.
Because I can already hear listeners or viewers saying, so that means that, like, if someone kills someone else, a murderer is on my team, that means that justice shouldn't be served. We should just give them a helping hand. And the answer is no. There are consequences for your actions. No doubt about that. And justice should be served. But that doesn't mean you can't have empathy. That's the point. That doesn't mean that you can't understand that hurt people hurt people.
Everyone was once a baby, a pure, innocent baby.
Exactly.
And over time, stuff happened to them that turned them into possibly monsters.
Yeah.
And yes, sometimes those monsters need to be brought to justice. But like you said, you can have empathy.
And also 95% of the circumstances, situations where this episode is really helpful is not about murderers. It's about just everyday assholes that are not really assholes. Like the title of this episode is actually kind of misleading because it's not like how to deal with assholes. We're all assholes. It's how to deal with people that are acting like assholes because we're all people that act like assholes. So I think that's a good place to really wrap this up.
Yeah.
Just remember that you're an asshole too. Especially you, Nick.
Thanks, asshole.
No, so to sum it all up, don't be naive. Expect that other people will be acting like assholes, including you, which leads to number 2. Don't take it personally. they are struggling. If someone's acting like an asshole, they are hurting really bad, and that's why they are acting out. There's a hurt person inside there. So have empathy. It's not...
So rather than sending them your anger, send them your love.
And rather than be offended by it, don't get offended by it, because that's what's going to trigger your anger. Realize that it's on them.
Yeah.
Keep it on them.
Yeah.
You know? And then that leads into the final one that really wraps this up and brings it all together, is that we are all in the same team, the same human team. And to obstruct each other is unnatural.
Yep.
We're not enemies. And those people that are acting like assholes are just fallen comrades. They need help. They don't need anger or you to throw tomatoes at them. They just need love. So let's make this world a more loving place.
Let's do it. Good job, bro.
All right. Episode
Marcus,
15.
good stuff, bro.
Thanks, bro.